Do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles, and you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obadala Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters of the Resistance. Friday, March 1st. We made it through February. It's March 1st. Only 20 days until spring. And only 613 days to something really important. What do you think that could be in 613 days? First, the late night
for Trump and Kim. Look at how much chemistry they have. They enjoyed a 4-course meal together that included chilled jumbo shrimp, romaine salad with Thousand Island dressing, grilled sirloin, and chocolate lava cake with vanilla ice cream. I'm starting to think maybe these guys just went over there to eat. But sadly, the meal did not lead to a deal. It resulted in nothing. Trump literally got more done in his summit with Kim Kardashian than Kim Jong-un. There's no agreement. Kim will not give up his nuclear program. Trump comes home tiny empty-handed.
Tiny empty-handed. I like the fact he made a good point that, and it's true, Trump had more progress with Kim Kardashian as opposed to Kim Jong-un, and that was on criminal justice reform. And then Trevor Noah went into a little bit of the love affair between Donald Trump and the North Korean leader, which is very relevant to some things we're going to discuss today. Let's hear last night's Daily Show, clip number 2, please.
Nuclear talks between the U.S. and North Korea have completely broken down. And I don't know about you, but I was shocked because my boy Trump has been telling us that he and Kim Jong-un are good. And I mean, like, real good.
I mean, we have a good chemistry together. Kim Jong-un. We have a great chairman, Kim. We have a great chemistry. I like him. He likes me. The relationship is good. We go back and forth. And then we fell in love.
Fell in love. And I know that sounds weird, but when you think about it, Kim Jong-un is totally Donald Trump.
Of course, at the time, he was showing a picture of, as you might imagine, Melania Trump when that was going on, and that was funny stuff there. So, and last night, let's do a little update. Last night, we talked about Donald Trump at his post-failure press conference, saying that he did not believe the leader of North Korea, Kim, was involved in any way or had any knowledge of Otto Warmbier and him getting killed. In their control. He was a 22-year-old young student who had a show trial in 2015, 2016. He was abducted by the North Koreans. And to remind you, play a little quick thing here of saying that he didn't know anyway. Kim could never have known this.
And I have talked about it. And I really don't think it was in his interest at all. I don't believe that he would have allowed that to happen. It just wasn't to his advantage to allow that to happen. Those prisons are rough. They're rough places, and bad things happened. But I really don't believe that he was. I don't believe he knew about it.
Did he tell you that he did not? Did Kim Jong-un tell you?
He felt badly about it. I did speak to him. He felt very badly, but he knew
And then, in case it was a mistake, here is Trump last night with Sean Hannity glowing about what a great guy Kim Jong-un is. And let's play clip number 6.
And he's a real leader, and he's pretty mercurial. I don't say that necessarily in a bad way. We'll see what happens. Again, the relationship is very good. He likes me. I like him. Some people say, oh, you shouldn't.
Left out. A UN report found North Korea under Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump's good friend. He likes him. They like each other. The strong, smart leader who's got a great personality is engaged in a systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations that may constitute crimes against humanity and will result of policy established at the highest level. I'm reading from a UN report. In 2018, Amnesty International found North Korea had held up to 120,000 political prisoners in camps where they forced labor and tortured, and hundreds have been killed for simply dissenting. But you don't hear any of that on Donald Trump's conversation because he likes the guy. He likes him because he's a dictator. He's a despot. He's everything Donald Trump dreams of being. That's like the ghost of Christmas future. That's what he wants to be. There's no doubt about that. We had a great, in our third hour last night, with Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who's an expert on authoritarianism and fascism. We had an hour deep dive into that and how Trump maps up perfectly, and people complimented on Twitter. If you want, it'll replay. First, it's on demand. You can listen anytime, or it'll replay Saturday night at 8 o'clock when yesterday's show replays on Saturday night. I hope you'll check it out if you want to learn more. This is a despicable, vile person. Donald Trump is there saying good things about him, and the Warmbier family specifically accused and made it clear in their view that Kim Jong-un is the reason their son's dead. They said, quote, he taken hostage, kept as a prisoner for political purposes, used as a pawn, and singled out exceptionally harsh and brutal treatment by Kim Jong-un. This is the exact words of the father, Fred, adding, Kim and his regime have portrayed themselves as innocent while they intentionally destroyed our son's life. And it was so bad, not only Republicans and Democrats, today on Fox News, there was Chris Wallace actually slamming Donald Trump. Here's clip number 5.
He takes Kim Jong-un at his word over not knowing at the time about the treatment of Otto Warmbier.
This strikes me as just a completely unforced error by the president and the White House. Why, on an issue like this, there's no question that Otto Warmbier was brutally tortured, basically killed by the North Koreans. Why on earth would you side with Kim Jong-un over the Warmbier family in the sense of outrage?
So there's no sense of it. And Kellyanne Conway was on TV defending Trump. I don't need to play that clip. I don't want to kill any of your brain cells. You don't need to hear someone lying. It's just garbage. Today at 4 o'clock Eastern time, just a short time, a couple hours ago, Donald Trump tweeted about this because the backlash was building so much. Even a Republican saying, why did you stand up with Kim Jong-un? So Donald Trump took to Twitter to clear it all up. Well, at least that's you thought he was going to do. Of course, he didn't. He tweeted, and it's 2 different tweets. I'll read the relevant part. I'm not leaving out anything important, I can assure you. He wrote, I never like being misinterpreted, but especially when it comes to Otto Warmbier and his great family. Remember, I got Otto out along with 3 others. The previous administration did nothing, and he was taken on their watch. And then he adds, of course I hold North Korea responsible. Of course I hold North Korea responsible. Twice he says it, for Otto's mistreatment and death. Of course. So in that 2 tweets, back to back, was something missing? No one's saying he didn't hold North Korea responsible. What we're saying is Kim Jong-un. But what's missing from that tweet is the name Kim Jong-un. Donald Trump tweets and slams anyone who he views slights him, from people like Hillary Clinton, who he calls crooked, Maxine Waters, low IQ, Michael Cohen's a rat, Barack Obama's a criminal, and the list goes on. But he can't say the words Kim Jong-un in his tweet? Why would that be? He can't say Vladimir Putin in a tweet attacked our election? No. He can't say MBS is the reason Jamal Khashoggi was killed? He can't. He attacks everyone. Liz Warren, you go down the list. Democrats, Republicans, Chuck Schumer, Jeb Bush, you name it. Never attacked Vladimir Putin. Can't say Kim Jong-un. Has not even slammed David Duke by name, folks. He can say everything about anyone, but there's certain people he won't criticize. White supremacists by name? Won't do that. Or dictators. You think there's a coincidence there? You think maybe there's a reason why he won't mock either of those 2 groups? Because this is who Donald Trump is, my friends. And Donald Trump desired to be a dictator, an authoritarian figure. And as Ruth Ben-Ghiat, the expert, laid out yesterday, when we use the term fascism, it doesn't really apply in the setting of America because we have more than one political party, unless Donald Trump can get rid of all the other parties, which I think he would love. Then we truly could become a fascist state. But Donald Trump is an authoritarian who has the same instincts as fascists, who wants to destroy our democracy using our democracy. And another issue broke in yesterday's show, which ties into this and it all connects on some level. And that was the story of Donald Trump approving security clearance for his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And as the New York Times reported in great detail, security experts had flagged Jared Kushner. We don't know why. We still don't have the answer why they flagged him. And here's the scariest part. I mean, so Donald Trump overrules them, tells John Kelly, then his chief of staff, to give his son-in-law security clearance. And here's the really scary part, and I'm reading right from the article of the New York Times. The White House counsel at the time, Donald J. McGahn II, also wrote an internal memo outlining the concerns that he had raised about Mr. Kushner, including by the CIA, and how Mr. McGahn had recommended that he not be given top secret clearance. The CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, which was run at the time by Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump's guy, did not want Jared Kushner to get security clearance. Why? We don't have the answer why, because we're not privy to that information. I wish we were. The New York Times even reports it's not precisely known what factors led to the problems for Mr. Kushner, some question about real estate holdings. I have some other ideas. First of all, to remind everyone, Kushner's initial background check, once Trump got sworn in, dragged on for more than a year. So clearly something was amiss. Something is wrong, goes on for a year. That doesn't usually happen. We don't know why. Other red flags that I have, this is just mine, this was not in the New York Times article, and I'm not sure if it's relevant or not. I'll just share it. There were 3 people at the Trump Tower June 2016 meeting where Donald Trump Jr. set up where Russia and the government was going to help Donald Trump's campaign. It was Paul Manafort, Donald Trump Jr., and Jared Kushner. Only one of them is seeking to get security clearance, and that's Donald Trump Jr. Perhaps there's a reason. I mean, not Donald Trump, I'm sorry, Jared Kushner. The other 2 didn't seek it. Obviously, Manafort's prosecuted, and Donald Trump Jr. just is a jackass, so he doesn't need it. I wonder if there's a reason there that they didn't want to give him security clearance because they fear what he's doing with Russians. Remind you, May 2017, the reporting was Jared Kushner and Russia's ambassador to Washington discussed the possibility of setting up secret and secure communication channels between Trump's transition team and the Kremlin using Russian diplomatic facilities. So perhaps there's some relationship with Jared Kushner and the Russians. We don't know. And again, I don't know. I'm just raising these saying I want an answer. Now, here is the big question that is easy to answer. Does Donald Trump have the power to give Jared Kushner security clearance and overrule objections? Yes, he does. Absolutely, he does. He can give me security clearance. He can give you. He can give it to anybody he wants. But as the New York Times notes, it is rare that a president would overrule his own intelligence agencies to give somebody security clearance when it's flagged. They said they use the term rare. They didn't quantify it. Maybe they don't know the actual answer because it's not usually it doesn't go public. A lot of people are making a big hay about the fact that Donald Trump lied because in an interview with Maggie Haberman in February of last month, she asked him point blank about this stuff and I guess maybe they knew they had reporting going on and asked him, did you get involved and tell John Kelly to give security clearance to Jared Kushner? And he said, no, absolutely not. He goes, quote, I was never involved with the security. And he goes, I would never direct the chief of staff to do that. So some of the media are going, well, Donald Trump's lying. He's lying. He's lying. Look, if it's just lying, it's meaningless. Donald Trump's a serial liar. He has the legal authority to do this. To me, there are 3 other issues here that are more important. One is, and first, I'm going to start with the conspiracy theory here. There's no basis for it. I'm putting it out there because being of half Arab heritage is what we do. We love conspiracies. What if Donald Trump is not lying? What if Donald Trump didn't give approval? What if there's some rogue entity within the White House that got Jared Kushner his approval by saying Trump wanted it or by forging the signature, perhaps Ivanka Trump? And again, that's pure speculation. Just saying perhaps someone else in the White House said, hey, my dad said it's okay, give him security clearance. Or here's a memo the president wrote and he didn't. There is a small chance Trump is not lying, that this White House is so disorganized, so dysfunctional. People are like, just give him the security clearance and we'll deal with it later. It's unlikely because Trump's a liar. It's possible. Everything's possible for Trump. But to me, the 2 much more important questions are, one, what were the security concerns flagged by the Central Intelligence Agency? They did not want Donald Trump at Jared Kushner to get security clearance. What were the security issues flagged by Don McGahn, the time White House counsel, to go to Trump to say, I don't think your son-in-law should get security clearance, knowing that's going to cause an outrage by Trump going, Jared? What was that about? And the third thing is, and it all ties into the earlier part about Donald Trump loving Kim Jong-un, is that Donald Trump doesn't care about the rule of law. He doesn't care about procedures, policies, regulations, anything. He cares about Trump. So Trump goes, give it to him. And that's something Kim Jong-un could do in a second, or Vladimir Putin could do, or Erdogan, or MBS in Saudi Arabia. But Trump can't, because Trump legally can, but he's going to answer questions. Now, why? We don't know what's going on. And that's the frustrating part. We don't know what's going on. But here's the good news, folks. Let me share the good news here on March 1st, 2019. Because of all the work that we all did together to win the House of Representatives in November, now Elijah Cummings, who is the chair of the Oversight Committee, and this is quintessential oversight. This is what Article 1 of the Constitution was intending, to oversight the job and whatever they're doing in the executive branch. So Elijah Cummings already had sent letters to the White House counsel, a new one, Pat Cipollone, say, what's going on here? And today, because of the new reporting, he sent a brand new letter, 5-page letter, where at the end he goes, I am now writing a final time to request your voluntary cooperation with this investigation. Give me the documents by March 4th. And if not, it's subpoena time. So we might have some subpoenas and have some answers here. But look, I'm troubled by this. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's just another piece of the jigsaw puzzle of Donald Trump's authoritarian desires to make this nation into Trumpistan and not the United States of America any longer. So what do you think perhaps is the reason that Kushner wasn't getting security clearance? Why would the CIA flag him? What's going on there? Do you think there's any chance that there's some rogue operation in the White House, or this is simply Trump lying about that? And what are your concerns about Trump increasingly just doing whatever he wants? And I wonder how this plays out in 2020 and we get into the election. What more does this madman do? So I'd love to hear from you. You're my guest right to the top of the hour. We'll also later talk about CPAC a little bit. But 866-997-4748. Give me a call. I'll be right back with more of the Dino Abdallah Show right after this. Look, it's time the media start calling out Trump's false statements for what they are. Lies. Trump's a liar. And by the looks of it, he's lying every day and twice on Sundays.
The Dino Abdallah Show.